Hey guys, happy Tuesday. We're talking about our ELD mandates that are coming up. Well, it's coming up actually in December, but for us here at Decker Truck Line, we are going to start making the transition from our AOBRD device that we've had in our trucks, in our Qualcom system, and we're going to be transitioning into the ELD. Hey Bob, good to see you. A long time no talk. Just joking. Hope you got your the message I just sent you to over Facebook. Anyways, I want to say hi to you guys. This is Tuesday, the 26th. Tomorrow's a big day here at Decker. So before we even dive into the discussion here on the Omnitrax and the ELD, I want to make sure that you are aware of tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. We will be announcing the Grand Champion Driver of the Year. So we'll be celebrating the 2018 Driver of the Years for each of our divisions here at Decker. And remember, we have 6 that we are celebrating this year, 6 divisions. And then, well, last year, 2018. But for 2019, we'll actually have 7 because we're adding the trainer as one of the divisions. So our trainer divisions will be added to Driver of the Year as well for 2019. But for the 2018, we're pretty darn excited to announce those winners. If you know them, if you run into them, make sure you congratulate them. For our Midwest Refrigerated Division, we have Steve Alger. We have Midwest Division, Ronald Birkin. Southern Flatbed Division, Anthony Vasquez. Our Western Refrigerated Division is going to be Chad Hazelton. Our Owner-Operator Lease Purchase Division, that's Jerry Arthur. And our team again this year, Gary and Judy Carnahan. Now, don't forget, as our Driver of the Year program works, you can win Driver of the Year for the division back to back. And Chad and Gary and Judy, prime examples of that. So winning back to back years. However, you can only win the Grand Champion one time. Well, one time in a row at least. So those guys are all up for the Grand Champion. And the Grand Champion has their choice of a brand new car or a brand new Harley Davidson or the equivalent in cash. So that's what the winner gets here for our 2018 Professional Driver of the Year, the Grand Champion position. So we'll be celebrating all of their wins. We will also be celebrating, did I print that off? We'll also be celebrating our 4 million mile, 2 million mile, and 1 million mile winners who have not yet been celebrating. So if I'm trying to get all of the names there for the driver of the million mile markers and stuff. So we'll post their names as well. If you haven't already checked us out on Facebook, make sure you do. It's facebook.com/DTL Inc. And that's where we're going to be doing the live event for tomorrow's announcement. So March 27th, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. You can check that out and be part of that, because I do know that there will be a few people on there that'll want to catch that. So make sure that you hop on so that you don't miss it. Not only are we doing the Driver of the Year, but again, we'll also be celebrating and awarding the million mile drivers. We've got for 1 million mile, we have Lawrence, Kirk, and Lonnie, who will be celebrating with them. Our 2 million mile award winners, Robert Wolvers, Charles Woods, Jeffrey Bostick. Those 3 are getting the 2 million mile award. The 3 million mile award, we have Dwight, Steve, and Rodney. So Steve, you're getting not only the Midwest Refrigerated Division, you're getting the 3 million mile award as well. And then our 4 million mile award winners, Dwayne and Steven, you'll be rewarded as well. So awesome. We have lots to celebrate. Make sure that you're there and that you don't miss out. So it'll be fun. What am I missing here? I got on a rant and not a rant. Those are good things. So Bob, what I sent should be down at the very bottom of that sheet. So I'll have to double check it when we get a chance to visit about it. Okay. Oh yes, Anna reminded me that it is, again, it's Central, 10 a.m. Central for tomorrow, but it's also at the North Building, the graphics garage in Fort Dodge. So if you're you're there for the event itself. Awesome. It will be live on Facebook. We will also post the replay, not only on Facebook, but also on our YouTube channel right here, right now. We can celebrate your return. That's good news. That's awesome. Yes, I will show that. You betcha. Thanks, Anna. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the open positions that we have here at Decker as well. But make sure if you have any questions, you can always get a hold of one of our recruiters at 888-668-0698, or you can apply at drivedecker.com. That'll work. So should we talk a little bit about the ELD, right? Let's talk about that. So the ELD system, this is a little bit different than what we've been working with here recently at Decker. We've got the Qualcom units, we have the IVG, and of our on this system, we've been using an AOBRD device. So that's how we've been doing the logs for, well, we've been doing electronic logs since that I remember since July of 2010. So that's when I remember doing that transition. And like anything, all transitions, it's pretty common to kind of have some wrinkles, some hiccups when you're making those changes. So that's why we're starting it now instead of waiting to the last minute come December, and then all of a sudden you have issues. We want to make sure that this is done right. A lot of the reason is with the CSA scores, not only are we transitioning to ELD, but with ELD, CSA has appointed another 22, another 22 points ranging from 1 to 5 each. So 22 write-ups ranging from 1 to 5 that you could be, written up on. So it is really important that you have a good understanding of how to work the ELD, why it is so important to know not only how it works, but how you can make the changes, if you can make the changes. And like Deb says, so Deb does a lot of that here in the office. So like she says, patience is going to be just preached. You have to be patient with the transition, but patient with yourself as you're entering in all of the information. And always, always, always double check what you put in. We had a good instance this morning, a good example, I should say, this morning when I was on the phone, that sometimes when you're putting in information in the Qualcomm unit, whether it's going to be the newer unit or the new ELD or the current one, and it's not always just for the logs, it could be getting your paperwork in. You always want to double check that it went through when you originally sent it. So if you're using the scanner for some reason, if you're putting in your information for your logs, whatever, maybe it's you even sending your arrived and empty calls, whatever it is, make sure that the information that you have put on there is accurate, is correct. So if you're putting in the information, this is a touch screen. So just like, I don't have my phone nearby me, but just like a telephone or an iPad, when you're putting in the information, if you're punching the numbers hard, it's not going to register as well as if you lightly tap it. That's just how they're touch screens. They're made to gently tap to work. So first and foremost, be kind to your screen so that it doesn't break. And make sure that once you've entered in the information, it's correct. So don't just assume. And don't assume that it's going to integrate, that all of your information that is coming in, your load information is always right. You need to make sure it's going to match your bill of lading that you have. So your bills that you have physically in your hand must match the paperwork on the Qualcomm unit. If it doesn't, that sends a red flag. You're going to need to get a hold of your driver manager. They're going to get a hold of customer service, whatever, so that we can get that fixed. And whatever's coming up on the screen, if it's not correct, then that's when you need to enter in the correct information. And then at each time that you enter it in, you'll need to certify it, which is basically approving or verifying that that information is correct that you just entered in. So that's super important. We really can't stress it enough that you have to be patient and you have to double check, because like anything else, it can get messed up. I can't tell you how many times I'm texting something, and no matter how much I want a 0 or an O to come across, I'm always putting a 9. So I've got the word 2 is spelled TN or T9, excuse me, in almost everything I text, because that darn fat thumb, fat finger is always getting in the way. You know, things like that happen. It'll happen. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, so what am I missing here? Yes, Anna says the ELD, the only one updated and routing, hours of service are separate and not integrated and perhaps affected differently. So that was one question that we were asked yesterday. Jason, one of our drivers here at Decker, he brought up that, wondering whether or not the integration from the navigation, the routing, all of that is that going to be updated within the ELD as well? It's not. The system itself, the Qualcom, is going to be updated. So you will go from, I believe it is from a Windows 7 to a Vista. So that part itself, the software, is going to be updated. And then the ELD will be updated within it. But it's an app for the most part. It's basically an app within the hardware. And the other apps are going to be your routing system, your navigation, your fuel route. So those are going to be different programs. So whether you're working with 4 or 5 different programs, they're not yet integrated. So as soon as you put your information in for the load, it doesn't necessarily put it into the navigation as well as the ELD and whatnot. So they are not integrated, is what I'm getting at. So when you get the new ELD system, you're not necessarily getting a new navigation system. It's going to be the one that you already have. You're going to be familiar with that. The ELD is going to be the same for hours of service. All of that is the same. Your hours of service are not changing. So if you are a dedicated driver, if you are an over-the-road driver, it doesn't matter. That part is, the hours of service are staying the same. How it is affected will, however, change. And what I mean by that is you're going to need to, instead of going to the 15 minutes, rounding to 15 minutes or rounding to 5 minutes, is going to be to the second. So everything is going to be updated to the second instead of rounding up on everything. Does that make sense so far? I'm way behind on my comments here. So if that makes sense, awesome. Yeah, use a stylus pin, Bob. Way to be thinking. Yeah, if you use a stylus pin or an eraser pencil eraser, those are great to get the information into your Qualcomm system. You just lightly tap it. That finger syndrome will be gone. But yeah, the stylus would work fantastic. Absolutely knows what he's talking about. A soft tip style pin. Yep, that is true. What else did I want to tell you about that? When it comes to short haul, another comment that was brought up, if you are on short haul, that's not going to affect you with your 30-minute break. I know that was one question yesterday. The hours of service are going to be the exact same as before. It's just how they're going to be affected. When you're going to need to know inspector mode, that's really important. That's something that we're going to see a lot of. You're going to need, first of all, remember that you have an ELD device. So that's the first part of the inspector mode. And any of this that you have questions on, you can actually access the training. Oh, right there, she already actually put it on there. So you can actually access all of the training for the ELD on the Omnitrax website. If you go to customer.omnitrax.com/training, it'll have all those on there. There's 9 videos. You'll also have additional training. You'll have the quarterly training that you have through us, that you have through the safety department. And once you've completed the quarterly training on the Omnitrax ELD system, then we will start to transition you into, or we'll start to transition the software into the new ELD. So you're not having to wait a couple of months from when you actually take the training. Once you take the training, that's when we're going to transition you. that way it's top of mind. You're not going to have that lag time of, oh yeah, I remember that a few months ago, or oh, I don't remember that because it was a few months ago. It'll be fresh in your mind. And that way, if you have any questions, you will definitely be able to access our safety department, which is extension 8533. So if you have any questions at all, you can contact them. You can contact us on Facebook. Deb's extension is 2313, and she is just a bundle of information, very helpful on it. I've appreciated all of her help in teaching me the difference and how this update is going to affect us. So a lot of knowledge there, and we're willing to give it. And that's the thing. We want to make sure that you're really well educated on it so that you're not going out there blindly. You know what this is all about. So the inspector mode, it's going to be one of the biggest changes of having the ELD system. Knowing, of course, that it's an ELD first off and foremost, and knowing how to help the officer access that information. It's the cheat sheet, or the code, I guess, is what I want to say. That code, inspector mode, is all going to be in the back of your binder, your manual that you get in training. It'll be in your truck. That'll be in the back of your manual. So will a 9-day paper log in case you need it. Now, very important. That 9-day paper log is for when the Qualcom or the ELD system isn't working. So if that OmniTrack system is not working or not working properly, that's when you use that 9-day log, the 9-day paper log. It is not when you mess up. So if you mess up or screw up on your ELD system, you pretty much have to live with it, because you cannot, especially if it's drive time, you cannot edit the drive time. Over and done with. Absolutely cannot edit drive time. Now, once you have, or before you have verified or approved the log itself, you can make some edits. So if you were, for example, maybe you forgot to enter in that you were on personal conveyance, or maybe you forgot to log out and you needed to log out. So those are all things that you can in fact edit. However, if you have already verified the logs for that 24-hour period, then you cannot, as a driver, make any edits. Once it's verified, it is done. It is already sent into our in-house, our payroll, and logs, and it cannot be done. If for some reason something needs to be done after it's verified, you can contact Deb 2313, and she can look into it to see if it's something that she can make some changes to. And the reason I say it that way is I don't want you to assume she's going to be able to make changes, because for the most part, there are very few changes she can make. And if it has anything to do with your drive time, she has no control over that. Absolutely zero control over that. None of us do. If it has something to do with giving you more hours, that is a violation. We cannot do that. We will not do that. So again, slow down, be patient when you're filling out everything on your ELD, and double check to make sure what you're entering in is in fact correct. Double check to make sure that, yes, you have verified the logs for today. Double check that you have logged in and logged out. And if you're going to get shop work, make sure that you log out, so that if a shop employee has to drive the truck or has to move the truck, that it is not under your hours. So those are all things that you, again, have to double check just to make sure that your hours are safe, they're being protected, and that your clock and everything is in fact protected. So there we go. That was my rant. I just want to make sure that everybody has that understanding. So the IVG cab card, that is going to be with the 9-day log in the back of your manual if you need it. And you'll be able to access the driver training as well through the Qualcom in the OmniTracks in the driver trainer section. If you can't get into the Qualcom or the OmniTrack system because maybe there's an issue with it, if it's broken, whatever, and you still need to to get to your logs to update your 9-day, then you can access the portal, not only through the Omnitrax, but you can also access the portal through our online link, and you'll have that. I believe that'll actually be on in your cab card as well, but you can always call our safety department, again, extension 8533, and we can get you that as well. This information will be available to you on our blog, which is drivedecker.com/blog, and that'll help you to walk you through any possible troubleshooting of the ELD, any malfunctions. And if it does malfunction, one way to troubleshoot it is to turn it off, turn it all the way off, log off, and then log back on. And half the time, you might, half time or more, you need to turn the key on. So turn the key in the power on, because the APU watts might not be enough to power it up completely with just the APU. So you might have to turn it all the way on in order to get the Omnitrax system, the ELD, to function properly. That's one way of troubleshooting it. And again, just call the shop if you have any questions. We don't want you to just get really frustrated. It does take a few minutes to update when anything has been edited. So if you did need something fixed and the in-house or the office staff had to take care of it for you, then it is going to take a couple of minutes to fix. But that's like 3 or 4 minutes, instead of 20. However, if it's taking more time to power up, it could take a good 20 minutes to power up if there was a malfunction or an error at some point. Okay. Am I doing all right with you guys so far? Don't make it more difficult than it is. Exactly. The information is available to you, and I want to make sure that you completely understand it, because it's not going to affect your timing, the way that you manage your time. It is, however, going to affect the extra certifying of logs or whatever, planning your day it's not going to affect your hours of service. Your hours of service are flat out that. How you're doing it, how you're addressing your hours of service, however, will be affected, because you're double checking everything. You can't make any adjustments. You do need to pre-plan. So if you aren't already, then I guess, yeah, it will affect it. But you should be pre-planning as it is. What Bob said. So yeah, you need to know that it's an ELD, and you need to be able to show the officer that it is and how to properly use the device. So that's part of the inspector mode. You'll be asked to complete the video training, and once you do the video training, then you'll be transitioned over. So we talked about that. Certifying everything, that's absolutely right. All your drive time is recorded. Drive time cannot be edited. Absolutely cannot. I don't care if it's before you certify it, after you certify it. Nobody in-house or driver themselves, neither one can make any adjustments to the drive time. It is what it is. There. That'll include the personal conveyance and the yard movements. So yard movements are when you're on private property. That's it. If you're at a truck stop, that's going to have to fall under personal conveyance. Private property, shipper, receiver, those are yard movements, like my Wonder Woman cup. Okay. Any questions on the yard movement or the personal conveyance? What the difference is? Personal conveyance is going to be more like you have to go get supplies. Maybe you need to get, good example. You need to stock your refrigerator, something like that. That's going to be more of what a personal conveyance is, where yard movements is you're backing into the shipper or receiver or whatever it might be. Oh, great example. Yes, Anna made a good point. With the malfunctions, if there's any issue, any problem at all with your ELD, we must know within 24 hours. You can't just wait to tell us. If you're going on home time and you see that there's an error on your ELD system, you cannot wait until you're coming back from home time to tell us. We have to address it within that 24 hours. Otherwise, it's a violation. So very, very, very important. Contact the safety department within 24 hours of any malfunction. Okay. We have to get it taken care of right away. Yes, logging in and logging out, verifying logs, they must be certified every 24 hours. So that's going to be a little bit different. Same thing with going on home time, or maybe you're on a long run. You cannot avoid certifying every 24 hours. It must be done every 24. Whether you're on a longer length of haul, whether you're going home on home time, all of that. And if you make it a habit, you are going to realize how annoying and how difficult it is for you to make those changes. Even if, I mean, clearly you can't make them on the drive time, but if you're having to edit your logs before verifying, you're going to see how much of a hassle it is if you could have just slowed down and made sure that you went through your checklist basically and followed through on all of the verifying, the certifying, I guess I should say, each time before going home on home time. Or if you're a team driver, make sure that whether or not you're a team driver or not, always make sure that when you go to drive, you are the active driver. You need to double check that as well. It'll pop up, active driver. Make sure that is in fact you, and that you're not just assuming that it's going to be you, because it could have been the shop. It could have been somebody else. If you're training or a trainee, if you're a team driver, those things can all really accidentally pop up. It could just be the wrong information. Just make sure. Just please double check that it is you, that you are the active driver. Even if it looks like it's clicked on, click it again. You might have to click it twice, nicely, softly, gently, to make sure that it in fact registered. But do it, please. Okay, yes, perfect. So you are able to obtain your log, for tax purposes or whatnot, on the Omnitrax portal. And Anna has gone ahead and provided that link to you right there. It says driver link to obtaining their logs. And those are going to be accessible for 6 months. So you can access those for 6 months. So if you're an owner operator, lease purchase, even if your company, you can go and get those, download those so that you've got them stored yourself. But we only keep them for 6 months. All right, Bob, thanks so much. I will do. Good example. If your truck is moved during your break, say you need to go, you decided, you arrived Friday night and decided Saturday morning that maybe you needed to go wash the truck, or maybe you're just moving it into a different location because you were rearranging vehicles at your house. Who knows? If your truck moves during a break, it will affect your brake. So you need to restart and redo your brake. Personal conveyance time. However, you can address it. There is, speaking of, now that you say that, where is that? Hang on one sec. In addition to that, breaking of your brake. I was trying to figure out what that one way around that is. And if the truck is moving the brake, yep. Personal conveyance, we do have a company policy that personal conveyance is a maximum of 30 minutes or 25 miles. So yes, we have a personal conveyance policy. Engine must be on, parking brake release, and remark entered for the PC to work. So that's, if you're needing to make any changes, that just reminded me, sorry. Side note, if you're making any changes, the ELD system is going to require that you make a comment for it. And the reason they're doing that is so that it's, it's easy to remember back because it is 6 months of stored data. Maybe 5 months down the road, you're going to need to go access those logs and what you were doing at that time, and you can't remember why did I have to switch to personal conveyance, or why is this on here? You need to be able to know why, and that you have up to 25 characters. I think it's 25 characters that you can include in the comments, and you must include in the comments in order to specify why you made those changes, why you made that edit. You have to do that. And your initials are not going to be enough. You're writing the word because is not going to be enough. You need to flat out say why. Okay, had to move the truck, wash the truck, whatever it is. You need to identify why. That's right. Personal conveyance absolutely cannot be used to further the load in any way. It is not a personal reason. Personal conveyance has to be for getting supplies, or for you personally, not for work. Yes. Certify log with, yep. Certify and log out when you go into the shop, and even at a terminal, because if a technician does drive your truck, it cannot be removed from your log. That's why it is so important. These things can't be changed, where with the old system, we were able to make those adjustments when need be. Again, when they didn't affect your drive time. But we can't fix things. You have to be careful. You have to be smarter. And that's one thing that you're going to learn. You are going to be more efficient in the long run using these ELDs, because you personally are going to be held accountable. So you're not going to be able to rely on somebody else, safety department, or anybody else for that matter, to help you with your logs. You are responsible for this. Absolutely. Have to hold yourself accountable. And this is if you missed this earlier, this is a federal DOT mandated change. We have to change to the ELD by December of 2019. We're doing this early so that we can basically get all the wrinkles, iron out all the wrinkles before the last minute. We want to make sure that it's going to be an easy transition for you. So we're only going to be doing 20, 30 trucks at a time, as we transition over. So again, once you do your quarterly training, then we'll start to transition you over. And I think we're going to be all done by June 1st, I think, is when we'll have all this completed. Plenty of time to make these adjustments. Up to 25 characters. Okay, yep. Yard movement. It does affect your clock, and it's an on-duty status. And it has to be private property. Again, truck stops don't work. Safe haven does not work. Safe haven is a hazmat term. It does not mean finding a safe location. It is if you need to find a location, a safe location to park, that is different. So that's going to be on your drive time. Unassigned vehicle activity should only occur when your truck is on the shop. The driver is logged out. You are held accountable. So a good example of that is, and a lot of this will be on your training, within your training, and so you'll see actual. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture for you to see what it looks like. To show you what the unassigned, is this one right? Yeah. So the unassigned trainer, can you see this? There you go. That's what it's going to look like. So that's when it's unassigned, and that's going to be when it's in the shop or something like that. Otherwise, it's going to you. So be careful of that. You are held accountable. It's your clock. Anna made another good point. If you're noticing that your logs aren't reflecting your time, you need to stop. You need to log out, log back in, and accept that time, because it'll ask you if you aren't, if it's unsure whether or not it's you, it'll ask you if this is your time. So especially if maybe you haven't moved for a while, it'll ask you if how this time is going to be entered in. Hey, Wyatt. So one good example is if you do go into the shop, we're going to use that example again. If you're going into the shop and you need to log out, if you didn't log out properly, then it'll still be running off there. And then when you log back in, it'll ask you, was this drive time you? Was this you that had done it? And you're going to verify whether or not it was you. If it was not, then you're going to explain who it was, where it was at. You're going to have to log all the way back out and accept. And when you log back in, you'll have to accept that time if it was you, because it has to be assigned. That time has to be assigned to somebody. Oh, yep. Our logs are all on Central Time. So our corporate office is in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is Central Time. Therefore, you will be in Central Time. The beginning of a trip. That is, once you start going above 5 miles per hour, that's going to flag the drive line and activate that. And that's going to be the beginning of the trip. So 5 miles per hour is the beginning of the trip threshold. And then it puts you on duty. Now, if you are on duty and you stop and you've been stopping, the truck is still on, and for 5 minutes, then it's going to continue to keep you on duty. Now, if you, at the 6 minute mark, it's going to pop up a warning or a note, and it'll ask you if you're on duty. If not, it'll kick you on duty after 6 minutes. So after 1 additional minute, after that 6 minute mark, if the driver remains, let's see if I can do a better job of explaining this. So with the 5 mile per hour, if the driver is put into an on-duty status, the activity is recorded. And at that time, if the wheels stop moving for 5 minutes, then it'll kick them into drive. So the driver remains in drive. If there is absolutely no response and a minute afterwards, so the 6 minute mark, the driver is transitioned to on duty. And then, so from the drive to on duty, and the activity is going to be then reported that the wheels had stopped 6 minutes ago. So it'll back count that it stopped 6 minutes ago. And if you do not answer on duty, including 6 minutes, yes, okay. So there you go. So, and if yes, you do not answer, it will leave you on duty, including those previous 6 minutes. So it like backlogs it for you. So always check your logs before you end the day, before you start your day, before you end your day, before you pick up a load, before you drop a load. Otherwise, yeah, if you end your day, or if you go home, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, and you didn't log out, you didn't end it, like legit end it, certify it with your ELD, then it's going to show you that you've been on duty for the last 3 days when you've been at home or however long. So you have to certify your logs every 24 hours. You must do it every 24 hours. Let's see, driver facing changes. Always make sure all your load information in the system is required. Do not assume it automatically transfers. That's what I mentioned earlier. Don't assume that it transfers, because it may have I don't know, reverted back to another load. You have to make sure that that information is correct, and then you need to enter it in. Use a stylus. Be gentle when you're using the touch screen, and make sure that if it's an I, it's an I. If it's an L, it's an L. If it's an O, it's an O. If it's a 0, and so on, because it's going to be as sensitive to that. It has to be absolutely correct. It's not necessarily an individual checking it out. It's eyeballing it. It's the computer itself you need to be accurate with. Yes, it will ask for a load trailer number periodically, and you're going to need to certify it. Now, if you had some issues where maybe you had entered in the information wrong once or twice, it could very likely ask you to certify it yet again. So you may have certified it once, and now it's asking you to certify it again. It's just double checking for you because you had agreed to it and then ended up having to cancel it. And so it's making sure, okay, so you certified this. This is the information that I still have in the system. I need you to certify it again. So, and that's just going to happen. Thankfully, that second certifying is there to make sure that you, in fact, have double checked it. So slow down, get it in there right the first time. Yes, they are very sensitive to the touch. A good point. Anna makes a good point. Be aware of what you're agreeing to when you certify it. So once it's certified, you can't edit it. And that's why they're double checking on some of those. And they're not always going to ask a second time for the certifying, but it'll be once for sure. Okay. I miss anything on that part? Drive time cannot be edited by anyone. That's going to include your personal conveyance. It's going to include your yard movements. We talked about the difference between that. Unassigned is unassigned driver or unassigned vehicle activity really should only happen when you're in a yard, a shop. When a shop mechanic goes and picks it up for you or something like that. If you notice that your logs aren't reflecting the driving, you got to log out. Make sure that you log in and out. Logs have to be certified every single day. I know I said that once. I'm saying it again. Every 24 hours. And if you don't do that, we can't fix it. But if you don't do that, it can flag for CSA violation. Okay. Always check your logs before you get out of the truck and before you start your day. Absolutely. Only accept it if you've got the load right there. Don't accept the load if not. Am I missing anything on that part? Does anybody have any questions on this ELD system? If you're entering in the information for the load and it's asking you questions, and it's asking you to certify, but maybe the information, the choices that it gives you, whether it's multiple choice or whatever, if maybe it's not giving you the exact one that you want, you do have a free form on there that you can fill out. And that is up to, I think, 25 characters. So you do have that free form you can add just to make sure that it's crystal clear on what you're doing. So, and that's what they need is status changes, duty status changes that you're making. Tell your story, Deb says. Tell your story, and that'll make sure that you remember what happened 4 or 5 months down the road, 6 months, up to 6 months down the road. Remember that you can access, not only can you access the portal, for your records, but you can also access the training through that portal. You can also access the training through the Omnitrax, the actual unit itself. And how to do that will be in your manual, which also has the 9-day paper logs in it. Yep, perfect. Thanks, Anna. There, she put that on there for you again, that customer, that training on the Omnitrax. Oh, for the ELD system, for the ELD malfunctions. If it is malfunctioning, or if you're receiving a red line, a red exclamation mark, that's usually when it malfunctions. And that's when you want to start the troubleshooting process. And you're going to need to log off, power it down, and power it up and log back on. And again, that's when you're probably going to have to turn the key all the way to power it on because the APU might not have enough wattage to do so. not fully powered up at least. All right. Well, I think we covered pretty much everything of this ELD system. Like I said, it's not going to affect your hours of service. It's just going to affect how you're going to treat those hours. You're going to act like they're more precious to you. You're going to be more aware of where you're at. You're going to protect them pretty much. If you have any questions whatsoever, just get a hold of the safety department. It's extension 8533. They'll answer any questions that you have about the ELD system. You'll have the training. The training will answer a lot of questions for you as well. Feel free to contact us through Facebook or through this video here. You'll have access to the replay as well. But all of that's right there for you. What we have to stress is that you need to be patient. You need to double check. You cannot make changes to your drive time, and you are responsible for your logs. Nobody else. You are responsible. You need to hold yourself accountable, not just us holding you accountable. So if you haven't already stepped up and if you are not holding yourself accountable and you're not and putting yourself at a higher standards, then you're going to struggle with it. So learn it, do it, take your time, and double check. There you go. Anybody have questions on that? All right. Well, we've got tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow we have our big celebration at 10 a.m. So that is a lot of fun, and I'm excited about that. But for this year, February 2019, we did get the new driver of the months, our February driver of the months announced. Usually those are announced the third week of the month following third or fourth week of the month following when you ran your miles, and everything. So January we announced in the end of February. Marches we will announce at the end of April. But February's, we just got the info. So the driver of the month of February 2019 will be rewarded to the Western Roofer was Charles Kuntz. Now, Charles, he's the winner. Now, in the Western Refrigerated Division, we have also, because of the number of over-the-road professional drivers in that division, we also have nominee as well. So the nominee will get, I believe it's a $50 gift or $50 credit to our Decker store and a gift card to, excuse me, let me rephrase that. For the nominee, you'll get a gift from the Decker store and a $50 gift card for Walmart gift card. And then the winner gets $50 credit to the store and a $100 gift card to Walmart. So that's what the winner gets. Now with the Midwest flatbed, with our numbers there, we have enough for, of course, our winner, Thomas Melton. He's our Midwest flatbed winner. Our owner-operator, lease purchase, Jerry Arthur. Jerry is also being rewarded the owner-operator lease purchase 2018 driver of the year, and he'll be rewarded that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. That's what we work off of. A central clock. So Jerry will be rewarded that, and hopefully, well, he's definitely in the runnings for the Grand Champion. And so he'll have a chance at that. Now, remember, the Grand Champion is either a brand new car, a brand new Harley Davidson, or the equivalent in cash. And Mr. Decker takes care of the taxes on those as well. So pretty nice winning. The Midwest Refrigerated. Now, this is going to be our biggest division. So we actually have two nominees for this one, Charles and Todd. Though you guys have been rewarded for our Midwest Refrigerated Guaranteed, or our Midwest Refrigerated, excuse me. We have guaranteed pay in our Midwest too, so I kind of throw that in there. Daniel Stewart, you have been the winner for the February 2019 Driver of the Month for Midwest Refrigerated. And Southern Flatbed, we have our nominee, Michael Ellithorpe, and our winner, Michael Reed. Oh, I saw the congratulations from your wife. on Facebook. So congratulations. And that's for Southern Flatbed for February. Our team, we have Robert Anderson and Lydia. Now, Lydia, I saw you on there. I appreciate all the input that you've had as well. So thank you. But those, Robert and Lydia, are our team for February. And again, everybody that's been on here, you will have a chance to win the 2019 Driver of the Year. So if you've been rewarded the Driver of the Month, you have the opportunity to win the Driver of the Year. So our trainer, this is our second nominee for our trainer. Is that right? John Hodges. He's our winner for our trainer, February 2019. This coming year, we're going to have the grand champion. So for 2019, the grand champion is actually going to receive a $15,000 bonus. So that's what our grand champion for 2019 will receive. Yes. Oh, Anna put on there here. There's the link to our Facebook Live, which will be tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time. You guys are definitely welcome. We are doing it at the North Building, the Graphics Garage at Fort Dodge. That's our corporate office, Fort Dodge, Iowa. So, of course, any of our professional drivers, employees, general public, if you are available to attend, please do so. It'll be live. There'll be fruit and beverages and pastries and goodies galore. And so those will be served during it as well while we have our celebration and reward not only our Driver of the Years for each of our division, but also our amazing million-mile winners. I say million, but it's like million, 2 million, 3 million, and 4 million mile winners. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have a slew of people that we are rewarding. How many altogether? We've got 10, 11, I think, that we're rewarding for the Million Mile Awards that have not yet been rewarded this year. Make sure that you congratulate everybody. Absolutely. We love and appreciate all the work that you guys have done. You've done a great job. And so we want to make sure that everybody knows it. So speaking of love and appreciate the work, because some of you guys have just stepped up and gone over and beyond and impressed some of our customers, we have been rewarded additional freight. So for our Lamar's, Iowa area, and I've been getting some requests on this, but for our Lamar's, Iowa area, if you're looking for a day shift, we do have 6 day shifts left. Those are the 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We also have 11 night shifts available from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So we had a lot fewer, but they've been very pleased with the work that you guys have been doing. And kudos, big, huge kudos to you guys. You've done a fantastic job. And so now we have more opportunities for you guys. If you have a friend that or know of somebody in the area, in the Lamar's area, that Sioux City area, that are looking for home daily positions, this is refrigerated. So home daily, let them know. Please let them know. Not only is this a good opportunity, it is a $2,500 sign-on bonus for this position out of Lamar's. You get $1,000 on first dispatch. You get $250 for the next 6 months. So you get a sign-on bonus you're going to get pretty darn quick, right up front there. Also, we have our referral bonus. So if you know somebody in the area, not only are you helping them out by sharing a good opportunity for them, but helping yourself, helping your little pocketbook as well. $1,500 for the first 3 drivers, each driver that you refer within 2019. So if you refer 1 driver within 2019, you're going to get $1,500 paid to you within 90 days of, and it's, what is it? It's 500, 250, 250, 250, is that right? 250, 250, 500, 500. There we go. That's what it is for the payout for the referral bonus. That's for the first driver you refer within 2019. The second driver, you're going to get another $1,500, same payout sequence. And for the third driver, same payout sequence, another $1,500 for them. So, I mean, you got great opportunity. But not only that, you also, if you refer more than 3, you can get $2,000 per driver if it's 4 or 5 drivers in 2019. And if you hire 6 or more, refer 6 or more that are hired on, you're gonna get $2,500 per driver. Not only that, but you also have, you're gonna get paid within 90 days for that. You're going to get some of those other bonuses. If you hire your first referral, you'll get a t-shirt that you can't buy at the Decker store. You actually have to earn this t-shirt, and that's for any referrals. So your first referral. Every referral that you make, your name will be entered in for a drawing for a chance to win a brand new iPad or a tablet, brand new laptop, or $750 cash. So you have, there are so many winnings. If you refer 5 or more within the 2019, you have the opportunity to be in the running for the grand prize, referral prize, which is either $2,500 or a trip to Las Vegas. So, I mean, there's so many more. You get you get your navigation paid, obviously. I meant to say Sirius Radio. That's what I wanted to say. You get your Sirius Radio paid if you refer 2 or more within 2019. If you refer 3 or more, you're going to get the driver cards. These are the personalized business cards. You can hand those out, and that makes a big difference, by the way, in recruiting even more people, referring additional drivers. So that's yet another one. Anna has gone ahead and put this new link in here for you. That is a little bit more about our referral program. So learn about that. I have a new one. I don't think that's the new one. So I'll have to get a new one for you. I've got that one for you as well. Also, what else? We have the refer of the year. We've got those jackets, those nice jackets. I think that's 5 or more referrals for 2018. So, I mean, my goodness, lots of opportunity, you guys, for extra money. But that Lamar's run is a great opportunity for that, because if you live in the area, you're going to know other people in the area that do the same thing that you do. And so there you have it. We also have some dry van. It's a semi-dedicated position. If you live anywhere from Lincoln, Nebraska to Gary, Indiana, along I-80 there, we've got weekly home time. So if you're looking for weekly home time, you're looking for van, there you go. The referral bonus is going to be paid for any of our divisions. So if you refer a driver that's hired on, and whether it's a dedicated route, a daily route, an over-the-road position, a guaranteed pay, whatever it is, that's going to, that'll be paid out within 90 days. So, but when it comes to home time, that dry van can get you home weekly along I-80 there from Lincoln to Gary, Indiana. If you live in Athens, Georgia, Hartwell, is it Athens or Hartwell, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Minneapolis, Anderson, South Carolina, Minneapolis, Minnesota, of course. Those are all home every 2 weeks. Same thing, Midwest dry van, it's semi-dedicated, and I have a few more positions available for that. So let us know. I only have 3 positions available for that. So that did not take long to fill up. Were we granted like 15 last week, 2 weeks ago? We had a lot of interest in that here in the last couple of weeks. We do have some flatbed. This Fort Dodge flatbed. It's short haul positions if you're interested in that. So if you're looking for short haul, which basically gets you home about every other day, into the Fort Dodge area, Minneapolis, Sioux Falls, those are definitely available. So again, the telephone number to our recruiting department is 888-668-0698. Definitely get a hold of one of us, and we will give you more detail based off of where you live. We've got home daily positions in Fort Dodge. If you live in Fort Dodge or within 50 miles, it is slip seating for this position. And it's a hopper position, year-round hopper position. I have 2 positions available. They are both at the 11 p.m. start. They roughly run about 8 hours, but it's 11 p.m. start, 2 positions available. Monday through Friday, it pays $250 per shift. And then when you're on the Saturday, Sunday shift, it's going to pay $275. So this is how that works. You get paid, the shifts themselves, again, start at 11 p.m., but you're going to do 2 days on and then 2 days off. Then you'll do 3 days on and 3 days off, and it'll come back to 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off. And as that basically rotates through, you get every other weekend is going to be a full 3-day weekend. And that's how that schedule works. And actually, that schedule is going to work the same for the Lamar's run, which 2 on, 2 off, and 3 on, 3 off, as it does for this position, this hopper position. But with the Monday through Friday for the hopper position, it's going to be $250 per shift, $275 if you're doing a Saturday or Sunday on that one. Okay. Oh, thank you. Anna has gone ahead and provided some additional links here. You can actually access more of our YouTube channel, more of our YouTube videos, which will hopefully be more informative, give you a little bit more detail on that position. So go ahead and click on any of those links and they'll give you that detail. If you have any questions, just get a hold of one of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. We do have weekly refrigerated positions for our over-the-road division, our over-the-road refrigerated division out of Missoula, Montana. So if you live in Missoula or within 50 miles, leave your tractor and trailer in Missoula on your home time, you can get home weekly. If you live in Kennewick, Washington, a good example of home weekly home time, yeah, for the over-the-road refrigerated. Same for Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. So those are all weekly home time in our over-the-road refrigerated division. If you are looking for a flatbed and you're in the mid or you're out west, if you live in Washington, Oregon, and California, we have options for you for home time too. It's about every 2 to 3 weeks for home time, but we have that flatbed option. We do have a local position out of Bessemer. The tough one on this one is that you do have to have experience. So even though we train for our over-the-road flatbed divisions, this local flatbed position, local home daily, usually starts around 7 a.m. We do require experience. So preferably coil experience. That's important. It's $17 an hour. And that's that local position. I only have one, but the experience is required. We have a Sioux City to Chicago run. That's refrigerated. That's going to be a dedicated run that gets you home about every other day. So if you're interested in that one, you can get a hold of us at 888-668-0698. And I mentioned earlier that we had the guaranteed pay for the refrigerated. We also have it for our flatbed. So it's $12.50 a week for the Midwest refrigerated. It's $13.50 a week for our Midwest flatbed. Now, Midwest flatbed, we hire for that if you live anywhere from Mason City, Iowa, to Fort Dodge, to Chicago, up to Milwaukee, back down to Mason City. So if you live along that, you would qualify for the Fort Dodge, or you could, if you wanted to, qualify for that Midwest flatbed guaranteed pay. Now, you also have the option of the over-the-road, but the guaranteed pay is $13.50, and you can make more than that $13.50. That's just the guaranteed pay. And of course, there's going to be requirements. You need to get your paperwork in on time. You need to get be available for dispatch. No driver service failures, so has to be on-time deliveries. So those are the requirements for that guaranteed pay. Not too hard. That's what you have to do anyway to get paid on it. The onboard scanners in the truck to get your paperwork on, those are there. We also have TransFlow app, which is probably the best way to get your paperwork is through that TransFlow app. So, and you can get that on your phone. It's a free app. Get it on your phone, put it on there, get that paperwork in. Works great for the guaranteed pay, of course, works great for all of them. But the Midwest refrigerated guaranteed pay, that's $12.50. And if you live along I-80 from Omaha to Gary, Indiana, if you live along I-90, if you live from Sioux Falls up to Chicago along I-90, then you would be within the hiring area for the guaranteed pay for the refrigerated, unless you're in like the Mason City or Madison, excuse me. Madison would is not within that hiring area. But other than that, along I-90 and along I-80, that'll get you that Midwest guaranteed pay. Same requirements, have to be available for dispatch, 100% on-time delivery, no driver service failures, and to get your paperwork in. That TransFlow app is handy dandy. Use it, use it. What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Guaranteed pay. Southern flatbed, yep, we have it in California, Washington, and Oregon. I mentioned that. We do have lease purchase. Do remember that we require that you run as a company driver for 90 days first. So that opens up some doors for you. So you've got a good feeling, good understanding of our company altogether before you transition into lease purchase. So that you get some reassurance that you're going to be successful in it. You know what you're doing. Got it all handled. And for teams, we are recognizing, don't forget, Driver of the Year team. Well, for 2019, Driver of the Month, for February, Driver of the Month, we had Robert and Lydia that won that. And again, they'll be rewarded for the Driver of the Month. Driver of the Year were Judy and Gary Carnahan. So they will be rewarded for the Driver of the Year this year. They can give you more details on how well they're doing, but they do pretty darn well. Basically, it's 50 cents a mile for our team, and the more miles you guys run, the more pay you get per mile. So every single week, we get paid every Friday. So every single week, you're going to get the 50 cents a mile on all the miles that you ran. And if you run between 12 and 14,000 miles a month, you're going to get an extra 2 cents a mile to the truck. So it's going to be split. And then if you run between 14 to 16, it'll be an extra 4 cents a mile, 16 to 18, extra 6 cents. Anything over 18,000 miles a month is going to be an extra 8 cents a mile. So really, you're looking at 58 cents a mile, but that extra 8 cents a mile is going to be paid to you in a bonus fashion the month following when you ran it. So for example, everything you ran in February will be paid out, third week of March. So that's basically a third pay period of March. That's normally how that works. Most of our teams like to run. They get great miles, and so they're all making well above that 8 cents a mile more. It just depends. If you're running super solo miles versus team miles, hard team miles, then we have that as well. All right. Anything. Yeah, if you have any additional questions, you guys just reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer them. Obviously, we'll keep this replay up there for anybody who wants to know more about Decker and what we have available. Again, the discussion today was mostly on our transition from our AOBRD devices to our ELD that we are already starting. So you'll do your training, we'll update your software, and then you'll be basically transitioned into that ELD system. So if you have any questions whatsoever on that, you can get a hold of us. Our safety department, 8533 is the extension. Deb's direct extension is 2313. There you go. And she'll be able to help answer some of those questions on the ELD since she knows them. I will do my very best to answer any additional ones that you might have as well. I'm there. You can get a hold of any of the recruiters at 888-668-0698. But yeah, it's a DOT mandate, has to be in effect on December 2019, and we are going to be transitioned over by June. So let's get all those wrinkles out of there early. We like that. Do you guys have any other questions? I think we pretty much covered everything. Join us tomorrow on our Facebook channel, facebook.com/DTL Inc. And we will go live on our Driver of the Years. I'm excited about that. It should be fun. And then I will go ahead and have that replay available to you on our YouTube channel as well. But obviously, it'll be later. It won't be live. Awesome. Well, you guys have a great rest of your week. Don't forget, if you have any questions whatsoever on available positions here at Decker, that you can reach any of our recruiters at 888-668-0698. You can apply online at drivedecker.com, as well as reaching out to us on our Facebook channel, and we will get you more information as it comes along. So have a great rest of your day, you guys. Thanks so much for your time. Bye.